Hey guys, hey, how are you? I'm Jay, and today we are going to look at this damn handsome Bestech Pebble, model number BG07B. So let's get started by looking at some of the features, and then we'll get into what I like about this knife, some of the potential deal breakers, and now make sure, guys, that you stick around till the end, because I will display for you on the screen the full specs of this knife. This is the Bestech Pebble, which happens to be, it's a manual action liner lock, specifically an inset liner lock. The blade's riding on a ball bearing pivot. Deployment is accomplished with this little flipper tab that you see here, and there is a stop pin. However, you're not going to be able to see it because it's internal. 3 inches long is the blade, 3.15 millimeters thick, and that is going to be good old VG10 blade steel, so pretty good stuff. The handle comes in at 4.25 inches long. The thickness, it is under a ½ inch at 0.49. Now the closed width, so how much room in the pocket this is going to occupy, you're looking at only 1.4 inches across. Now if we flip this over and look at the backside, you can see it is open construction with just the one barrel spacer. Let me go ahead and grab the scale, guys, so we can see how much this is going to weigh you down. Before I go ahead and hoist her up on the scale, I just wanted to show you guys the inside liners. Yep, they are both extensively skeletonized. All right, let's see. Not bad, 3.6 ounces, which is going to be roughly the equivalent of 1, 2, 3, 4, about 4 AA batteries. How about we go ahead and bring in some other knives, guys, just for comparison's sake. Now this is overall this is a smaller knife, so let's bring in some other small knives to compare it with. Of course, the Kershaw Dividend, and then how about the Benchmade Bug Out, and let's do this guy, the Spyderco Native 5, and how about another Benchmade, the Mini Freak, and let's do one more because everybody's got one of these, right? The Para 2. Let's get into what I really like about this knife, and let's start with the well, the blade shape, which it's a full flat ground, and it really does look like it's like a modified kind of sheep's foot. And yes, it does have a stone wash finish. I really like the black and tan G10 colors, and there is only just the one body screw, so I always appreciate that. The scales, they are very nicely chamfered all around the edges on both sides, which that also helps to give the scales kind of a sort of a contoured look to them. The Pebble does feature a very strong detent, and yeah, there is no way I can shake this guy open. The center, oh yes, just about perfect. Once the blade is deployed, it looks like it's locking up at about 25%. Now, as long as we're looking at that liner lock, can you guys notice that it has like a little bit of an indentation? So the lock is very comfortable to actuate, and it's also, because of this cutout, very easy to access. And we already talked about the flipper a little bit. I really like how small that the flipper is, yet it is still very effective. The G10 scales, they do provide, let's say, acceptable traction. I mean, I would not call this slick at all, but there are no grooves, there's no texturing of any kind, yet still I don't feel like that this is gonna slip out of my hand. There is a well, a good-sized sharpening choil and a little bit of jimping in two areas. So here on the blade spine, right at the pivot, and the other spot is going to be on that little compact flipper tab. Now the handle, which I believe is just about perfectly designed for the pocket. And I also believe that this is pretty much where Bestech kind of focused most of their efforts and ideas on this knife. The pocket clip, it is a deep carry clip that comes standard, so that's nice. And notice that where it is anchored to the scale, it is in fact recessed as well, but there's no ridges. Again, there's no texturing, so there's nothing that is going to get this hung up on your pocket when you're putting it in and out. Now, unfortunately, guys, we've got to get into and talk about the deal breakers, because there are, sadly, there's a few. Now, this is a ball bearing pivot, yet the action, not so hot. It is easy to get this to pretty much fail. And they must have Loctited this pivot, because I'm going to show you guys, when I tried to go ahead and adjust it, see if you guys can see this. Here, 1 second. So here, you guys see that? And I'm going to go ahead and try and adjust it. Oops, sorry if that's out of focus. Is that better? Yep, that is spinning right along with it. So they must have used some Loctite or something. So I was not able to adjust this pivot. So that was kind of disappointing. The cutout. You see the cutout here just on the show side, right there for your index finger. I really wish that they would have done that on both scales. I just think that would have made using this gentleman's folder, I don't know, just a better purchase overall on the handle. The balance is off. Making this a little bit, you guys see that? Yeah, handle heavy. The jimping, now the jimping on the blade spine, it's pretty much ineffective. I mean, it might as well not be there, because I have to press. Look at how hard I have to press, and that is just so I can just barely feel the ridges there. The pocket clip, now the edges of this pocket clip they're pretty darn sharp, and on top of that, it is only just a one position pocket clip, so that's going to be tip up for righties. No lefty option at all. I don't really get that. It would have been really easy to put that on the other side. The the sharpening choil. Well, the forward choil, I wish they kind of either would have made this bigger to accommodate a finger, because it's too small for that, or made it, if it is just to be strictly a sharpening choil, then does it really need to be that big? Because it's just taking away so much sharpened edge from this already, small blade size. And the last possible deal breaker, well, that's going to have to be the price. Anybody, any guesses? 90 bucks. 90 bucks for this. That is way too much. For $90, you're getting VG10 blade steel, a ball bearing pivot with bad action, and a one position pocket clip. So now think about this. For, let's say, I don't know, 20 or 30 bucks more, you could go ahead and get a bug out. You could get a mini freak for 20 or 30 bucks more. Heck, for a little bit less, you could get a Delica for exactly the same price. So for $90, you can go ahead and get a native 5 in S35 VN blade steel with FRN handle scales for the same price as the Pebble. And it's a shame because it's a good looking knife. I love the black and tan G10. But you know what? At 90 bucks, guys, I'm sorry. I can't recommend this. And it really is a shame because I like the design. I do like what they were trying to do with this gentleman's folder, but just not at this price point. I mean, because I have the Bestech Lion. I friggin' love that knife in D2 blade steel, but that was 40 bucks with a ball bearing pivot and better blade steel. And already on top of all that, I'm gonna have to use a soldering iron to potentially to break the pivot screw loose, just so I can adjust it to get this ball bearing action to where it should be. Guys, don't go anywhere because I'm about to show you the full specs on the screen. Heck, you're probably looking at them right now. I don't know, pause and read. Thanks you guys so much for stopping by, letting me talk knives with you. And hey, I will see you guys at the next video. You guys take care. See you later.